So Anthropic quietly did something most billion-dollar labs never would. They built an entire school, put the whole thing online, and made every single course completely free. It is sitting right here at anthropic.com/learned, and almost nobody is talking about it. This is the catalog. Around 20 full courses running from a gentle first day introduction all the way up to building your own AI tools from scratch. No paywall, no free trial, no credit card. You just sign in, pick a course, and start learning today. Now think about what this normally costs. A coding bootcamp will run you $10, maybe $15,000. A proper university module on AI, quite a bit more than that. Anthropic charges you $0 for material that is honestly just as good, and you still walk away with a certificate. So I did the obvious thing. I enrolled in every single one and worked through them start to finish. The gentle beginner tracks, the heavy developer deep dives, all of it, so I can tell you which ones are worth your evening and which you can quietly skip. And underneath all of it sits one deceptively simple idea. Not a pile of clever prompts, but a framework. 4 habits that make you good at working with any AI, not just this one. They call them the 4 Ds: delegation, description, discernment, and diligence. Hold on to those 4 words. And here's the part that surprised me. The core framework was not written by engineers at all. It came from 2 professors, Rick Decken, who teaches at an art college in Florida, and Joseph Feller, a business professor in Ireland, who spent 2 years studying how people really collaborate with these tools. That academic route matters because it drags the whole thing past the usual prompt tricks. It is less about memorizing magic words and more about learning how to think alongside a machine that is fast, endlessly confident, and every so often completely wrong. And the range is wider than you would expect. On one end, a course that assumes you have never once opened Claude in your life. On the other, lessons on wiring Claude straight into your own code, your own tools, even your own custom agents. Total beginner to genuine builder in a single place. Finish any course and you get one of these, a real certificate of completion with your name printed on it. No, it is not going to replace a computer science degree, but drop it on your LinkedIn and it quietly signals that you actually understand this stuff, not just the hype around it. So here's how we are going to break the whole thing down. First, the framework that ties it all together. Then the actual curriculum, one track at a time. And finally, the honest question at the end of it. Is any of this really worth your time? It all begins with one course, AI Fluency, Framework and Foundations. 14 short lessons, a little over an hour of video, and one quiz right at the end. It is comfortably the best single starting point on the entire platform, and it is where those 4 Ds stop being words and turn into habits. The first D is delegation, and it comes down to one question. What should you hand off to the AI, and what should you keep for yourself? Good delegation means slicing a job into the parts a model is brilliant at, drafting, summarizing, exploring 10 options fast, while you keep the judgment, the taste, and the final call. The second D is description. This is prompting, but taken seriously. The skill of telling the AI exactly what you want, the context it is missing, the role it should play, and the shape the answer should take. Vague in, vague out. The sharper your description, the better everything downstream turns out. The third D is discernment, and it is the one almost everyone skips. It is the discipline of reading what the AI hands back with a critical eye, checking the facts, catching the confident nonsense, noticing what is missing. You describe, you discern, then you describe again. That loop is where the real quality lives. And the fourth D is diligence, the responsible one. Being honest about where you leaned on AI, protecting private and sensitive data, and owning the final result as fully yours. The course even ends with its own diligence statement, openly admitting that Claude helped write it. That kind of transparency is the entire point. With that framework in hand, the rest of the catalog suddenly snaps into a clean shape. Think of it as a degree with 4 majors, a foundations track meant for absolutely everyone, a developer track, an agents track out on the cutting edge, and a whole family of courses tailored to who you specifically are. You start on the ground floor. Claude 101 walks you gently through using Claude for everyday work, writing, planning, wrangling messy documents, and a short companion course, AI Capabilities and Limitations, explains in plain English how these models actually work and where they tend to fall apart. Then the developer track swings open. Claude Platform 101 and building with the Claude API carry you from your very first API call all the way to real working applications, streaming responses, tool use, feeding in long documents. This is the moment where quiet reading turns into you actually shipping something real. Next comes Claude Code, Anthropic's coding agent that lives right in your terminal with 2 whole courses on it. You learn to point it at a real repository and have it read, edit, and refactor the code shoulder to shoulder with you. It is the closest thing on here to genuinely pair programming with a machine, and then it gets genuinely advanced. A pair of courses on the Model Context Protocol teaches you to build the plugs that connect Claude to the outside world, its tools, its files, live data, all in Python. 3 pieces do the work: tools, resources, and prompts. This is how you give an AI actual hands. From there, you head fully into agents. Short, sharp courses on skills, on subagents, and on cowork show you how to hand a model a real job and just let it run, delegating pieces of work to specialized little helpers that keep your main conversation clean, focused, and on the rails. There is even an enterprise wing to all of this. 2 courses cover running Claude inside Amazon Bedrock and Google Cloud's Vertex AI, the exact setup a real company would use to deploy these models securely, at scale, without their data ever once leaving their own cloud. And then the framework fans back out to everyone else. There are tailored versions of AI fluency for students, for educators, for nonprofits, for small businesses, even a course on teaching the whole thing to others. The same 4 Ds aimed squarely at whatever it is you actually do all day. So after grinding through every last one, is it actually worth your time? Here's what impressed me. It is free, it is current, built around the exact tools people are shipping with right now, and it is properly hands-on. You are not just watching a talking head. You are prompting, building, and breaking things as you go. But let us be honest about the catch. This is Anthropic's own academy, so every single example is Claude. You will not hear a word about their competitors, and a few of the shorter courses feel more like a product tour than a deep lesson. Walk in knowing it is, in part, a beautiful showroom. So who should actually take it? If you write code for a living, the developer and MCP tracks alone are worth the afternoon. They are that good and that practical. And if you do not touch code at all, the AI Fluency course is maybe the single best hour anyone has put online on how to genuinely work with these tools. But the real reason to do any of it is the part that quietly outloves every model release. The 4 Ds do not care whether you use Claude today or something completely different next year. Delegate, describe, discern, and stay diligent. That is a way of thinking, and it transfers to every single AI tool you will ever touch. So that is the whole map. A free framework built by professors, a real developer curriculum stacked underneath it, and one honest catch to keep in mind: an entire AI education sitting right out in the open, waiting for basically nobody. Well, now you know it is there.